Congratulations again. You have completed book 2 of the Launchpad series. Let's jump into the recap. Hello and welcome to recap for book 2. Congratulations. If you've made it here, it's because you've read through book 1 and you've read through book 2. So let's dive right in. What did we talk about in book 2? Well, we talked about a couple of things, but primarily we started with a base on key areas of research when you're starting your business, and that is being able to know your industry, your market, and your competition. And so we provided definitions, but here we're going to dive a bit deeper for those who feel like they need a little bit more explanation. So what is an industry? Look, we have industries, and each industry actually has a code in Canada. And this has been established because, well, it's just easier to be able to categorize all of the different businesses in our country. If you look around and look at every single thing in front of you or behind you or in your hands right now, everything has most likely been created from a business, right? My water bottle, my phone, my laptop, my microphone, my pen, the parts in my phone, the mirror, my windows, my chair, the shampoo that I bought over the weekend at the grocery store, the food I eat, and so on and so on. And so to categorize the types of businesses that are operating in our country, we group the ones that do similar activities under one industry. And just to give you some more information on how we classify businesses, if we want to go even deeper, we can categorize industries under sectors. Okay. And why is this important? Well, the government has an interest in knowing what kind of businesses are operating, what kind of revenue is being generated. And with this information, they're able to provide reports and do research into which industries are most successful, which sectors have the most women in them. What about Black folk? Where do Black or BIPOC youth fall within the industries? Is there a higher percentage of BIPOC youth working in one industry over the other? Which industry is most popular? Which industry makes the most money? And so on and so on. And this is really important for you to understand, because when it's time to populate your business plan and when it's time to talk about your industry, you want to be able to know what kind of information you should be going after. And again, it depends on who is reading your business plan. If you're sending your business plan to the bank, okay, or to a potential investor, you need to ask yourself, why would they care about the industry I'm in? What would make an investor be more likely to provide me with an opportunity for funding based on my industry? Well, if I'm going to lend somebody money because they want to start a new business, and I get information about the industry that they want to go into, and the information says that there is a prediction by the government of Canada or the Bank of Canada or the province of Quebec that this specific industry is going to grow exponentially over the next 3 years, then as an investor, I will feel more confident investing money in you, because that's just one thing that I get to check off in terms of, okay, yes, this business looks like it has the chance to succeed. Now, sometimes I recommend people do this research even before doing the business plan. Why? Because you might realize real quick that an industry is set to be really impacted by an economy or prices in another industry that impact your industry. And you might find out that, oh, wow, I wanted to start my own hair business, and I wanted to import hair products from China to be able to sell in my boutique. But doing my research, the industry trends or forecasts show that the prices of Chinese exports are going to triple in the next 3 years, which means that if I were to start my business and I were to import from import into Canada from China, that my prices would have to go up and my client would suffer because I wouldn't be able to offer the same price as when I'm starting out. So I hope that's a good example of what an industry is and why it's very important that we at least have a paragraph about what trends are predicted in our industry. Your market, another very important part of what I call the top three bases to cover in any business plan or in any research efforts for your business. Your market is really important. And I just want to give a distinction between a market and target market. So if we look at a cell phone here, okay, let us assume that probably 80% of people on the planet want or are interested in owning a cell phone. All right. And so that is a market. So Apple is in a market where 90% of people want a cell phone. Target market. Target market refers to the number of people that actually want your phone or a specific type of phone, right? So again, 80% of the world wants a cell phone, but how many people actually want an Apple? How many people want an iPhone, right? Now, for all of my Samsung fans or my Google phone fans, you're not in Apple's target market, right? They want you to be, but right now you're not, because maybe you're an Android, team Android. And so it's very important to distinguish between all of the people that are interested in the type of product you offer or service and all of the people who are most likely to buy from you. And there's a difference. And this is very important for you to know. And then finally, competition. It is super important to know who your competition is. And look, some people get really uncomfortable with the word competition because some people say, well, what if I want to partner with another business that's doing what I'm doing? I feel it's weird if I call them my competition. And at the end of the day, you can definitely partner with your competition if you feel that that's strategic on both of your parts and there's something to gain for both of you. But for the sake of looking at your business, it's really important to know who else is vying for the attention of your target market. And in the beginning, it might be hard to gauge this because, perhaps your business is still an idea and you've yet to test the market and see who's actually really interested in it. And that way, in that case, you might have to kind of guess who your competition would be, but definitely starting to think about who would be vying for my business, for my clients as a business, and who would I have to compete with. Why is that important? Well, when we get to the marketing piece of, growing our business and the sales piece, we want to make sure that we're providing value and that we are providing value that's different to our competitors. And just a bit of, or just a research tip, okay? When you're researching for your market, industry, competition, you need to just go online. I mean, there are many different sources and the guide provides a great bit of information on where you can get that, not just online, but Google, Bing, Yahoo, whichever search engine you use, it's going to be an amazing tool for you. But it's really important that you're specific with what you're asking Google or Bing to provide you, what information you're asking it to provide you with. So for example, if you're looking to see what industry you're in, what industry is a restaurant in Canada? Very important because different countries have different classifications and different industry names for different businesses and different business industry codes. So always be specific. If you're operating in a specific country or city, put that name in there, right? If you're looking for information on an industry, information, trends, that's a key word. Information, trends, Coaching Industry Canada 2023. Date is also very, very important. And so you want to be specific with what you're asking for in these search engines, and the information is almost always going to be available. Now, for those of you who have a business that's really niche or really unique or even really innovative, sometimes you might not have information that is readily available for you because maybe there just hasn't been enough businesses in an industry to provide information on or to research on. And in that case, you'll have to be creative and you'll have to think of kind of other ways to prove that the industry you're in is growing. Okay, so if you have a really cool idea and it touches on AI and maybe dog walking, and there is no industry trends, there's no statistics on this, how do you find this information? I would definitely recommend that you then use the other kind of industries or other statistics to support it. So while there are no trends or competitors in this space, there is a market for, or an industry for dog walking, which is the service industry. There is an industry for artificial intelligence. And so you pull on the information from those two industries. Another way to get research besides just going online and Googling it is by going out there and getting your own, conducting your own research. And so this is called primary research. And what it is it's us going after the information. And so you can do this specifically for market research, right? So trying to understand who's in your market and trying to understand who's most likely to be in your target market. Now, this helps with developing your buyer personas, right? And that is something we'll get into on book 3 and 4, but your buyer personas are you looking at your target market and further categorizing your target market through the creation of personas. So for example, you have a business and you are targeting young moms from the age of 18 to 25, and you have t-shirts with cool or funky designs and words on it that encourage or empower young mamas. And so within that target market, are there 3 or 2 characteristics that you can group all of the target market under? For example, maybe of your target market, there's one group that is a single parent group, right? So young mamas who are single and raising their kids on their own. But there's also the mama who's has a husband but is work from home. You see that? So you would create 2 types of characters, 2 personas based on how you can divide or group the people in your target market. Why is this important? Because when it's time to do your sales and marketing, you know how to speak to those people. You know what kind of content to put on social media. You know what kind of ads to put on Facebook because you know who you're talking to. So market research is really important. And why would a funder, a potential funder or an investor care about this? Well, they want to know other information. For example, you put out the market research survey. You're asking questions like, how likely would you be to buy a t-shirt that empowered you? How likely would you be to pay between $20 to $30? What would you pay? Who are other companies that you're currently purchasing clothes from, right? So you ask questions that in many ways can answer some of the research questions you have through the survey. But overall, this information not only validates the need in the community, but also provides price points for what people are willing to pay, et cetera, et cetera. And so if I'm an investor and I see that you've done your market research, I, again, will feel more confident that you know who you're selling to and how to sell to them. So another check goes off in, another check mark for me in terms of should I invest on this business or not. And so one thing I definitely want to touch on is the fact that this may feel very, very technical, and this may feel very overwhelming. But I want you to know that this can be done without prior experience. It just takes time, it takes dedication, and it takes very, very attention to detail. And what I want you to remember in this recap, if you remember one thing, it's best practice. You are not the first person to create a survey. You are not the first person to write a business plan. You are probably not the first person to start a business in the industry that you're starting a business in. And so I want you to remember that there are other resources out there that can help guide you on this process. Google is your best friend, or Bing or Yahoo, right? Google market research survey for clothing business. Research financials for clothing business. Startup financial projections, clothing business. Marketing efforts, marketing plan for clothing business, right? And I'm not saying to copy and paste, but gain information that will inspire you, that will give you confidence to move forward and deciding on what information should go in your business plan. And finally, when I say best practice, it means, don't be afraid to take a little free course that says how to create a market research. Don't be afraid to take a $20 course on, how to write a business plan. Professional development is something that you will want to explore in these beginning stages of starting your business, because I'm telling you, while writing your business plan on your own may take time and may require you to, stop, take a little course, gain that information, come back, stop, research to see examples or samples, come back. It will be a learning experience that you will not regret, because as you grow as an entrepreneur, you will be in rooms and in situations where you will be expected to know certain things, right? And so the more you know as an entrepreneur, the more people trust that you know what you're doing in the business. So don't take this lightly. Don't get scared away. Again, yes, you can hire someone to write your business plan. You can hire someone to help you with your market research, for sure. But if you don't have the money, it just means it might take a little bit more time. But that time will not be wasted. Another thing we want to ask ourselves when we're doing our research is, what will it take to deliver, market, and sell this service or product? This is super important. A lot of people skip out on this piece, and what happens is they build a business plan, they put one or two words on their operations section, but then when it's time to launch, they're really scratching their head on why they're not making sales. Well, you didn't think about what it would take to market and sell your service. And you thought it would be just as simple as hitting launch on Squarespace or Wix, and you thought that the moment you shared it on Instagram or Facebook, everyone would come running. It doesn't work that way. I promise you, I've tried more times than I can count, and it doesn't work that way. You have to put time into marketing and selling your services or product. And so you need to think it through, and it shouldn't just be a simple 1, 2, 3 step. Nothing in starting a business, especially if you want to grow $1 million business, $100,000 business, is 1, 2, 3, go. Or else, you know what? Everyone would be a millionaire. Everyone would start their own business. It takes time, it takes research, and it takes planning. So very important. Asking yourself, what is my 6-month plan for delivery, marketing, and selling? So your operations plan is a very important part of your business plan. And we touched on it in the recap of book 1. We touched on it in book 1, but here on the recap, I'm telling you, your operations plan is very important. Who do you need to deliver, market, and sell this service? You need yourself as the CEO. You need maybe a marketing and salesperson. Maybe you need a operations manager, someone who will actually be at the warehouse, taking the orders online, printing out the tickets, putting the products in the box, shipping it to through UPS. Who will you use? Will you use UPS if your business requires shipping? Will you use Canada Post? You need to think about all of this, and you need to do the research. Well, what research is there to do? If I'm going to ship, I'm going to ship. Who are you going to ship with? I don't know. UPS. Why UPS? Is Canada Post cheaper? You didn't know. You need to do your research. So your operations plan is really important, and you should be asking yourself questions like, from point A to Z, how do I sell and deliver my product? And so in the guide, we provided you with an example of a production process, which is a part of an operations plan. And I think it's a pretty good example on how you should be thinking about what goes into delivering your product or service. Also very, very important and a part of the operations plan is who's managing the business, right? And so you might be the owner and founder, but do you want to be the CEO? Do you want to hire a CEO? These are questions you'll have to ask yourself. All right, friends, there we have it. Book 2 recap on research. I hope that diving into, the industry, market, and competition helped clarify a little bit more on how to move about getting that information about your business and why you should have that information. Catch you on the recap of book 3.